Hello, everyone. This is Don Handrick. I'm happy to be able to share a little bit with you about what the retreat at Vajrapani in October is going to be about. It's a wonderful text that's part of the basic program in the FPMT. It's called The Wheel of Sharp Weapons. And it has this name because essentially we find that our karmic actions are things we create from our own side, often throwing that kind of wheel or weapon wheel out towards others, aiming to harm them. But it ends up coming back around to harm us. And so a good part of the text does involve taking a look at the teachings on karma, how karma works, and to understand the mechanism of karma. However, this is part of what we call the Lojong teachings, these Mahayana mind training teachings that are so precious. And essentially in this tradition, what we're looking at is to not just identify that karma is happening, but to really look at the underlying causes of our creation of karma, which in the Mahayana context are these two mindsets, which we often call the twin demons. The first of the twin demons is the main one that we're focusing on in this text, and that's the mind of what we call self-cherishing or self-preoccupation. It's a tendency that we have to get really narrow-mindedly focused on our own welfare and to be oblivious to the welfare of others. We can see how this operates in most of our negative actions. When we try to get things for ourselves, care mostly about our own needs, we end up stepping on other people's toes. We end up taking from them, lying to them, harming them in a variety of ways. So this is one of the main topics of this text, and a good portion of the text is spent looking at the various karmic creations that we are experiencing, to see where they come from, to see how the self-cherishing mind is involved in doing that. And then, of course, to work with trying to combat that through a deeper understanding of our interconnectedness with others and the need for us to generate a more compassionate motivation towards other beings and holding them in our hearts in a much more profound way than we currently do. The other of the twin demons is the mind of self-grasping, which is this very subtle mind that is at the root of all of our delusions, afflictions, as we call them in Buddhism, these states of mind that prompt us to create so much of our negative karma. Ignorance here is the misknowing of how things actually exist. And the specific way that it's identified in this text is as what we call self-grasping. Grasping at a self, particularly with regard to ourselves, our own individual beings, and then grasping at that sense of identity that we think is so real and concrete that actually isn't there at all. So the latter part of the text deals with overcoming that demon and to try to see how self-grasping needs to be uprooted through the wisdom that realizes how things actually exist. So in this retreat, we're going to be examining the entirety of this text, all of the verses that are involved in it. I think it's like 115, 16, something like this verses. But throughout the retreat, we're also going to be doing some meditations. We're going to be also doing some mindfulness practices during the day in order to keep these teachings very fresh in our minds and analyze how things are appearing in our lives and how we are relating to them and so on. And then, of course, also have some discussion group. Every evening we'll have a little bit of discussion so that people can interact with each other in regard to these teachings and come to understand them through talking about them, which is a very important tool in developing and deepening our understanding. So I do hope that you will consider joining us for this wonderful retreat, an opportunity to be immersed in this very profound and practical text. And hopefully you can come and benefit from the teachings and the experience of being able to work with this text over the course of this week or so. All right, I look forward to seeing you. Take care now. Bye-bye.